The further a team reaches in the playoffs, the more money the team earns, but even just a series going long is beneficial for teams as they're able to sell more tickets from playing additional games. This is especially true closer to the NBA Finals where ticket prices go higher and higher. Also, it's more opportunities for fans to buy jerseys. This becomes exponentially more valuable in the conference finals when only 4 teams are left and each team and their fan bases can already taste a championship. But recently, in the last 2 years, the NBA hasn't been able to capitalize on the conference finals as they were historically before because over the last 2 years, both conferences almost ended in a sweep in their respective conference finals. Last year, the Nuggets swept the Lakers in the conference finals, while the Heat went up 3-0 against the Celtics only to lose the next 3 games and manage to win in Game 7. This ultimately saved the NBA by giving Vegas, NBA fans, and the teams 3 additional conference finals games, and so the NBA didn't need to step in and take action to make it more competitive. If the Heat finished their series in Game 4, we would have seen the second time in NBA history where both conference finals ended in a sweep. This year, the Celtics swept the Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals, but the Mavericks ended up winning in 5 games as they lost Game 4 by only 5 points. This gave the NBA 1 additional conference finals game this year. Had the Mavericks also swept the 2024 Western Conference Finals the way the Celtics did the Eastern Conference, Adam Silver may have considered extending the conference finals into a best-of-9 series. This may sound crazy, but a massive historical reason why we even have 7-game conference final series is because there was a sweep this late in the playoffs a long time ago. Despite how close it was last year to happening, the last and only time both conference finals ended in a sweep, the NBA the following year enforced longer series, turning the series from 5-game series to the current 7 we see today. Prior to and including the 1957 playoffs, the division finals used to be a best-of-5 series, first team to win 3 games. The division finals were the final 4 teams and the equivalent of the Eastern Western Conference Finals we see today. To emphasize how impactful that 1957 playoffs was, the division semifinals stayed as a best-of-3 and the NBA finals stayed as a best-of-7, but only the conference finals since then also became a best-of-7 series. In 1957, the Boston Celtics swept the Syracuse Nationals 3-0 in the Eastern Finals. The St. Louis Hawks swept the Minneapolis Lakers 3-0 in the Western Finals. The following playoffs, starting in 1958, the NBA made conference finals, also known as the division finals at the time, a best-of-7 after that. That 1957 conference finals was the first time both sides of the bracket where both the Eastern and Western division finals ended in a sweep in NBA history. The NBA was very quick to modify that 5-game series into 7 for the following year. Since then, we have today's 7-game Western and Eastern Conference Final series, but we know how much the NBA values the profits that come from the playoffs, especially this late into the playoffs, and with how quickly things like the play-in tournament came into fruition. And even this year, we saw the first ever in-season tournament, so it wouldn't be too shocking to see the NBA turn the conference finals into a best-of-9 series as a result of this year if both the Celtics and Mavericks had swept their respective conference finals matchups. For sports betting and the NBA that profits off more games, this is a worst-case scenario for the NBA when both conference finals ends in a sweep. While the league has seen more parity than likely ever before, conference final sweeps, especially in both conferences, is an extreme rarity, but a costly one for the NBA that would want to avoid this if they could. Last year, in this Las Vegas Sportsbook radio episode, they talk about how these conference finals ending in sweeps would be really bad for the NBA and its sports betting partners.
And oh my God, are we going to get 2 sweeps?
Today is May 22nd. Game 1 of the NBA Finals is set for June 1st.
Yeah.
I mean, if the Nuggets
8 days off,
yeah, if they finish off the Lakers tonight, and then the Heat take it to get 2 sweeps, we're going to have a week off, and both these teams are going to have that many days to get ready for the NBA Finals, and there are going to be no games to bet on for that long. This is not going well for the NBA or Adam Silver. Wow. 3-0 for both of them, and they might need a week off in between the conference finals and the NBA finals. Something that if you asked him, what is your worst case scenario? With truth serum, he'd probably say this exact scenario.
If you liked the video and appreciate the time it took to put this together, I'd really appreciate if you could subscribe. Be sure to check out my other video detailing how this year's NBA Conference Finals is the first in NBA history to have no MVP winners.